If you've ever grabbed a can of brake cleaner or a shop rag and gone to town on your MAF sensor because a YouTube video told you it would fix your rough idle, I need you to stop right now and listen to what I'm about to tell you, because there's a very real chance you didn't fix your car. You broke it, and the worst part is, you probably don't even know it yet. It's going to show up in a week, maybe 2 weeks, sometimes a month later, when your check engine light comes back on, your gas mileage tanks, and your mechanic tells you that you need a new sensor that costs 3, 4, sometimes 5 times more than the cleaner you used to fix the problem in the first place. So today I'm going to walk you through exactly what a mass airflow sensor actually does inside your engine, why cleaning it seems like such a simple, harmless job, the specific mistake that almost everyone makes when they clean it, why that mistake silently destroys the sensor from the inside out, even when the car seems to run fine right after. And then I'm going to give you the actual correct way to do this so you never have to worry about it again. Stick around until the end, because I'm also going to tell you the 3 warning signs that tell you your MAF sensor is already damaged, even if your check engine light hasn't turned on yet. Let's start with the basics, because you need to understand what this little piece of plastic and wire is actually doing before you understand why cleaning it wrong is so dangerous. Your mass airflow sensor sits right after your air filter, usually in a black plastic housing between the filter box and the throttle body. Its entire job, its only job, is to measure exactly how much air is entering your engine every single second. That number gets sent straight to your car's computer, the ECU, and the ECU uses that number to calculate exactly how much fuel to inject to match that air. This is not a rough estimate. This is a precision measurement happening dozens of times per second, and your engine's entire fuel mixture depends on it being accurate. Too much air reported, and the computer dumps in extra fuel you didn't need, wasting gas and fouling your spark plugs. Too little air reported, and the engine runs lean, which means not enough fuel for the amount of air actually coming in, and a lean engine runs hotter than it should, which over time cooks your pistons, damages your catalytic converter, and in bad cases can literally burn a hole through components that cost thousands of dollars to replace. So this sensor isn't just some minor accessory. It is one of the most important sensors in your entire engine, and your car's ECU trusts it completely. It doesn't double-check the number. It doesn't have a backup plan. Whatever that sensor says, the computer believes. Now, how does this sensor actually measure air? Inside that little housing is either a heated wire, or in most modern cars, a heated thin film element. Air flows over this element, and because moving air cools things down, the sensor measures how much electrical current it takes to keep that element at a constant temperature. More airflow means more cooling, which means more current needed, and that relationship between current and airflow is precisely calibrated at the factory down to fractions of a volt. I want you to really sit with that for a second. Fractions of a volt. This is an insanely sensitive piece of equipment, way more sensitive than people assume when they look at it and see what looks like a simple wire or film stretched across a plastic tube. So here's why people clean it in the first place. Over time, that wire or film gets coated with a thin layer of dust, oil residue from your air filter, and general grime that sneaks past the filter. When that coating builds up, it insulates the element slightly, which throws off the airflow reading, which throws off your fuel mixture, which gives you symptoms like rough idling, hesitation when you accelerate, poor fuel economy, and sometimes a check engine light with a code related to airflow. And here's the thing. Cleaning the MAF sensor genuinely is a real fix for this. It's not a scam, it's not an old wives' tale. Mechanics do it, dealerships do it, it's a legitimate maintenance step. The problem isn't that people are cleaning it. The problem is almost everyone is cleaning it wrong, and the wrong way looks so similar to the right way that most people have no idea they're making a mistake until the damage is already done. Here is the mistake, and I want you to really pay attention because this is the entire point of this video. People use the wrong cleaner, or they touch the sensing element directly, or both. Somebody sees a MAF cleaning tutorial, grabs whatever spray cleaner is sitting in their garage, whether that's carburetor cleaner, brake cleaner, contact cleaner, or even a general all-purpose degreaser, and they spray it directly onto that delicate wire or film element. Some people go a step further and actually take a cotton swab, or worse, a paper towel, and physically wipe the element to get the grime off, because visually it looks dirty, and wiping feels like it's doing a more thorough job. Here's what actually happens when you do that. The sensing element is unbelievably thin and unbelievably fragile. It's designed to be touched by nothing but air. The moment you physically wipe it with a swab or a cloth, even gently, you can bend it, stretch it, or leave microscopic fibers stuck to it. Any of those things permanently changes how air flows across it, which means it will never give an accurate reading again, even though it looks perfectly clean and undamaged to your naked eye. You can't see this damage. Your car might even seem to run a little better immediately afterward because you knocked some of the surface grime off, giving you false confidence that you did a good job. Then weeks later, the ECU starts getting slightly wrong data, which it doesn't recognize as wrong, because there's no dramatic failure, just a small, consistent skew in the numbers. The engine slowly starts running a little lean or a little rich without throwing an obvious code right away. And that's the dangerous part, because you keep driving on it, mile after mile, while it quietly wears down other components that depend on a clean fuel mixture like your catalytic converter and your oxygen sensors. Now let's talk about the wrong cleaner, because this might be the bigger issue. Brake cleaner and carburetor cleaner are harsh, powerful solvents designed to strip grease and grime off metal parts. They are not designed for sensitive electronic sensors. Many of these cleaners contain chemicals that leave a residue behind. Or worse, they can actually be conductive or slightly corrosive to the ultra-thin coating on the sensing element. Some brake cleaners even have components that react with certain plastics and rubbers common in the sensor housing, causing the plastic to become brittle or slightly warp over time. This means even if you never physically touch the wire, spraying the wrong chemical on it can still degrade its accuracy or damage the housing seal, which lets unmetered air sneak into your engine later on. Another problem that throws off your fuel mixture. And here's the part almost nobody talks about. Some of these harsh cleaners leave behind an invisible film once they dry. A film that actually insulates the sensor similarly to the dirt you were trying to remove in the first place. Except now it's a manufactured chemical residue baked onto a precision instrument instead of natural grime. So you go through the entire process thinking you cleaned your sensor, when in reality you just replaced one layer of insulation with a different, sometimes worse, layer of insulation, and introduced potential corrosion on top of it. So what's the actual damage timeline look like for someone who does this? Usually it goes like this. Week 1, everything feels fine, maybe even slightly better since some surface dirt got knocked loose. Week 2 to 4, you start noticing your fuel economy slowly drop, maybe 2 or 3 miles per gallon, small enough that you chalk it up to weather or driving habits. Around week 4 to 6, you start feeling small hesitations when you accelerate from a stop, or the engine idles a tiny bit rough at red lights, but it's subtle enough that you convince yourself it's nothing. Then somewhere around the 2 to 3 month mark, the check engine light finally comes on, usually with a code pointing to the MAF sensor circuit or a fuel trim code, meaning the ECU has been compensating for wrong data for so long that it's finally flagged an actual fault. At this point, you take it to a shop, and here's the frustrating part. Because the sensor isn't obviously fried, some mechanics will run a basic test, see that it's producing a signal, and tell you it's fine, sending you off to keep driving on a sensor that's subtly wrong, not completely dead. Or on the other end, a mechanic sees a slightly out of range reading and immediately recommends a full replacement, which on many vehicles runs anywhere from $150 to over $400, depending on your make and model, when the actual root problem was the cleaning method you used months ago that's been slowly cooking that element with heat cycles and chemical residue ever since. Now here's the correct way to clean a MAF sensor, the way that actually works without any risk of damage. First, only ever use a cleaner that is specifically labeled as Mass Airflow Sensor Cleaner, or MAF Sensor Cleaner. This is not marketing fluff. This specific formula is designed to evaporate completely without leaving any residue, and it's chemically gentle enough not to damage the sensitive coating on the element. It typically costs less than $10 for a can that will last you years of maintenance. Second, before you spray anything, disconnect the sensor's electrical connector and, If possible, remove the sensor from its housing entirely so you have full visibility and control, rather than spraying blindly into a tube. Third, and this is the most important part, spray from a few inches away in short bursts, and never, under any circumstances, insert anything solid into the housing to wipe, scrub, or touch the element. No cotton swabs, no fingers, no paper towels, nothing. Let the spray do the work and let gravity and evaporation do the rest. Fourth, after spraying, let the sensor air dry completely for at least 10 to 15 minutes before reinstalling it. Do not use compressed air to speed up drying, because compressed air, especially from a shop compressor, can carry moisture and oil particles that recontaminate the sensor, and the force of the air itself can physically bend that delicate element just as easily as a swab can. Just let it sit and dry naturally. Fifth, once it's fully dry, reinstall it carefully, reconnect the electrical connector firmly until it clicks, and you're done. So that's genuinely the entire process. It takes maybe 20 minutes including drying time, and it costs less than a fast food meal. But the difference between doing it this way versus the wipe and harsh chemical method is the difference between actually fixing your car and slowly destroying a $200 part while thinking you saved money. Now let's talk about how you even know if your MAF sensor needs cleaning or replacing in the first place. Because jumping in and spraying it just because a video told you to isn't always the answer either. The first sign is a rough or fluctuating idle, where your RPMs bounce up and down at a stop instead of sitting steady. The second sign is hesitation or stumbling, when you press the gas pedal, almost like the engine has a slight delay before responding to your foot. The third sign, and this is the one most people miss, is a noticeable and sudden drop in fuel economy that doesn't match your driving habits, sometimes losing several miles per gallon within just a week or two. The fourth sign is your engine stalling at idle, especially right after starting the car, or when coming to a stop after highway driving. And the fifth most obvious sign is a check engine light with codes in the P0100 to P0104 range, which are the standard codes directly tied to mass airflow circuit problems. If you're seeing two or more of these symptoms together, that's when cleaning becomes a genuinely worthwhile step. And now you know how to do it the right way, instead of the way that quietly wrecks the sensor over time. I also want to address something a lot of people ask me, which is, how do you know if your MAF sensor is already too damaged to clean and actually needs replacement instead? Here's a simple way to think about it. If you clean it properly using the method I just walked you through, and your symptoms don't improve at all within the next 50 to 100 miles of driving, that's usually a sign the element itself has physical damage, whether from age, a previous bad cleaning, or oil contamination from a poorly oiled aftermarket air filter, which, by the way, is another sneaky cause of MAF problems that has nothing to do with cleaning technique at all. Those oiled performance air filters, if over-oiled during installation, let excess oil migrate downstream and coat the MAF sensor, and no amount of proper cleaning fixes oil baked onto a heated element repeatedly over months of driving. In that case, replacement genuinely is the answer. And knowing this ahead of time saves you from wasting cleaner and time on a part that's already past the point of no return. Something else worth mentioning, because I know some of you are going to ask in the comments, is whether it's safe to clean the sensor while it's still installed in the car without removing it. Technically, you can, and plenty of people do it this way successfully, but removing it takes an extra 2 or 3 minutes on most vehicles and gives you full visibility to make sure you're not accidentally getting ice from surrounding wiring or plastic components you don't need to clean, and it lets you visually confirm the element itself instead of guessing based on feel. If your particular car has the sensor in a tight, hard-to-access spot, cleaning it in place with the proper spray cleaner is still perfectly fine as long as you follow the same core rule: spray only, never touch, and let it air dry completely before starting the engine. Let's also clear up a common myth I see repeated constantly, which is the idea that you need to clean your MAF sensor on a fixed schedule, like every 10,000 miles no matter what. That's not really accurate. Unlike an oil change, MAF sensor cleaning isn't something that needs to happen on a strict interval for most daily drivers with a stock air filter setup. It's more of a symptom-based maintenance task. If your car is running fine, your fuel economy is normal, and you're not seeing any of the warning signs I mentioned earlier, there's no need to go poking around in there just because some arbitrary mileage number passed. The exception is if you're running a performance air filter, especially an oiled reusable type, or if you frequently drive in dusty, rural, or off-road conditions where more particulate matter bypasses the filter over time. In those specific cases, checking it every 20 to 30,000 miles as a precaution is reasonable. But for a normal commuter car with a stock paper filter, you're generally fine just watching for symptoms rather than cleaning preventatively on a timer. One unnecessary repair can cost you hundreds, sometimes thousands, and shops count on the fact that most people have no idea what's actually wrong under the hood. I put everything into one guide, called Never Pay an Unnecessary Repair Again, and it's only up for a limited time before I take it down. Scan the QR code on your screen right now to grab the full guide before it disappears. Now let's zoom out for a second, because the MAF sensor mistake we just covered is really just one example of a much bigger pattern that shows up constantly with car maintenance, which is people doing a task that's technically correct in concept but wrong in execution, and that small execution error is what causes damage, rather than the maintenance idea itself being bad. Cleaning a MAF sensor is a legitimate recommended maintenance step. Nobody's telling you not to do it. The issue has only ever been about using the right tool and the right technique. And that one distinction is the difference between a 20-minute job that saves you money and a mistake that costs you a brand new sensor. Plus, potential damage to your catalytic converter down the road from running on bad fuel mixture data for weeks or months without realizing it. If you take away just one thing from this video, let it be this: precision instruments need precision care. Your MAF sensor isn't a dirty dish you're scrubbing at the sink. It's a calibrated device measuring fractions of a volt to keep your entire engine's fuel mixture accurate every second your car runs. Treat it that way, use the correct MAF-specific cleaner, spray only from a distance, never physically touch or wipe the element, let it fully air dry, and you'll get years of reliable service out of a part that a lot of people accidentally destroy while trying to help their car. Before you go, think about how many other small maintenance tasks you might be doing slightly wrong without realizing it. Tasks that seem harmless in the moment, but are quietly setting you up for an expensive repair bill down the road. That's exactly why I put together a complete guide covering the most common repair mistakes car owners make, the ones that mechanics profit from every single day, so you can catch these problems before they turn into a bill you didn't see coming. Scan the QR code on screen right now to grab your copy while it's still available, because I won't be leaving it up forever. If this video helped you understand your car a little better, or if it saved you from making a mistake you were about to make this weekend, let me know down in the comments, because it genuinely helps me know what to cover next. And if you've got a specific engine light, sound, or symptom you're dealing with right now that you want me to break down in a future video, drop it below, and I'll do my best to get to it. Thanks for watching, take care of that engine, and I'll see you in the next one.